like nervous. I don't like public speaking. I don't like being the center of attention. And I certainly don't like letting people get too close to me. That's something that I always struggle with. So y'all bear with me. God told me to come up here today and give my testimony. Amen. So when I was a kid, pretty much I was always forced to kind of go to church. Didn't like it. Every weekend, I had to go to my grandmother's house. There was no TV. All you got was old hymns. You reading the Bible, you gonna talk to her, and that's it. Enjoy some oatmeal, some bologna, nothing. She was going on. But she would always talk to me about generational curses and how I was supposed to be the person to break it in our family. And pretty much she would say things like, I know you dream things, don't be afraid of it, that's God. And for a long time, I used to be like, I don't even know if she getting old. I think it's time for them to find somebody else come over here because I can't do this. So when I was 19, I went out on my own and I decided I ain't going to church anymore. I'm hanging out, I'm having fun, I ain't going to church. And so, lo and behold, one day I came home from work and I worked nights. And I worked 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and I had been going. I hadn't been sleeping well. I was dog tired. I came in and I literally just passed out. And I was laying on my bed and I remember watching myself sleep. And then this thing that was clothed kind of floated out of my bathroom and I'm watching it come near me and I'm screaming in this dream, wake up, wake up, wake up. And right before it touched me, I opened my eyes and I couldn't move. I couldn't speak and my bed was shaking. Now, I ain't been to church, so I ain't armed with what I need to be armed with from God. And I'm laying there trying to remember everything that my grandmother told me. Amen. And God came to my rescue, and he gave me the words to say that you are the child of the high most high God, and they can't have you. And I thought that, and it let me go. And I sprinted out of my apartment, and I told myself, I'm going to find myself a church, because that can't happen. That's not okay with me. So I started having all these demonic dreams. I'm going to church. I'm having all these demonic dreams, all these weird dreams. And so I know something bad going to happen. And God tells me, it's Christmas. And he tells me, and I'm 19 years old, and he tells me not to get in the car, to stay home. And I let somebody else talk me into going when I knew good and well I had no business going. And I remember I was mad. And I was looking out the window and I had an attitude. I'm like, they make me sick. And I got all this stuff going through my head. And something said, look up. And as I looked up, I seen a car facing a red light. Like it's running, sped up and everything. And before I could say anything, all I hear is boom, 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 boom. There's nothing but screaming and everything but black. And when I come to, I hear everybody saying, where's India? Where's India? And somebody said, she didn't get out the car. And I'm like, where am I? And when the ambulance came to get me out the car, I was laying on the floor and the engine was this close to my face. And the paramedic, they asked me all these questions. And I'm like, I know what today is. I can answer my birthday. I can answer all this stuff. And they're looking at me like something is wrong. And I'm like, I don't understand. I get to the hospital and the doctor told my mother my stomach was about this big. Everybody thought I was pregnant, but my stomach was full of blood because my liver was lacerated. And they told my mom I was going to die. And I'm 19 years old, laying in the bed. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm a little banged up, but I'm fine. And I closed my eyes to go to sleep because they gave me all this medicine. And I had this dream that I was going towards this bright light. And it was the most beautiful light that I have ever seen in my life. And it was so warm. And I just wanted to go to it. I was drawn to it. And I kept going through it. And when I got to the top, a voice said, stop. And I stopped, and it said, turn around and go back. And I was like, no, I want to touch this light. This light is wonderful. And I got angry with me and said, I said, stop. You turn around and you go back. And I felt like I was falling. And when I opened my eyes, my grandmother was standing over me. And she had said to me, you're going to be all right. And my cousin, who was in the car with me, he's standing there stitched up crying. And she turned to him, she said, stop crying, boy. I said she's going to be all right. It's not her time. God's not finished with her yet. And so she kissed me and she walked out of the room. And as I laid there in thanked him for saving me, and I told him that I would always trust and obey him. And every time I trust and obey him, I realize that my life is I mean, it's not perfect, but it's good. Like, nothing can ever make me fail. But every time that I don't, things are just so chaotic and it's so crazy. And so one of the things that I had a hard time obeying him was my family. For some reason, they're dysfunctional. It's just a lot of things that I don't agree with. And for a long time, I would kind of just go along with the flow. And so when I started speaking out and saying things like, that's not right, or that's not what God would have us to do, or I'm not going to get involved in it, all of a sudden, now I'm kind of like the outsider. Family turning back on me. I'm going through all kinds of things, trying to get people help because they got addictions. They want to turn their back on me, pretty much. So it's like me and my brother, they got cast out our own family for trying to do the right thing. And God gave me a church family at my other church. So lo and behold, when they was all gone, and I'm pregnant with my daughter, she comes into this world, she has plenty of people who love her, plenty of people who love us. And I realized that every time I try to go back in there, with them, it never feels right. And God just recently, because we went through another thing, with my family, and I said to them, I said, I can't continue to watch people use drugs, and then they die, and y'all sitting here boo-hooing, and nobody did nothing to try to help them. So God has told me that I'm going to have to be that person that changes the thing. My grandmother told me, the curses in the family and go against the grain. And, slowly but surely things are working out in the family, but God just this weekend showed me that my work is not done, and he's not done with me. Because again, we were faced with another issue of somebody doing drugs to the harvest that took their life, and I was called to come in, and honestly, I didn't want to go. I was like, y'all need to call the police. That's right. My issue, y'all issue, I'm not taking that on. But God told me, he was like, no, you need to go. And I didn't understand why he told me to go. And when I got there, because I really honestly thought they were exaggerating, because every week there's always something with them. So honestly, God thought that they were exaggerating, and I got there and I seen the severity of it. And honestly, if I wasn't obedient to God, I really don't know what would have happened with that family. And so God is just telling me to trust in him with all my heart and just stay steadfast in prayer, because I'm on the right track. And he lets me know that I'm on the right track, but I have to stay focused, and I got to stay in prayer, and I got to stay in church. And so I'm very thankful that I found a new church family. I'm very thankful that I can be in church with you guys. I love you guys, and I feel comfortable enough to come up here, because honestly, all yesterday I was like, I'm not going to church. I can go up there. I can tell them there's nobody looking at me. Lord Jesus, I can't do it. And I was the devil. But I got up here, and actually I feel good sharing that with you guys and telling you guys that, because that might help somebody else trust God and know that when you go through things, if you trust God, he's going to make it all right. Don't make your own decisions. Don't lean on your own understanding. Lean on him and trust in him at all times, and he's going to make sure everything's all right. It ain't for you, it's for him to take care of.